On April 24, 2023, a town hall meeting for Berry College was held at the Krannert Ballroom, with many students in attendance to voice their opinions. The purpose of the meeting was to discuss updating Berry College's branding, most notably the Viking head logo that's used to represent Berry men's and women's athletic teams. Opening the meeting is President Steve Briggs. He begins by discussing issues with some aspects of the current branding of Berry, particularly about the letter B that is being used as part of the publicly available Superstar M54 font family.
What we're really talking about is how can we create, as we move forward, a distinctive identity that has four parts. We would like to have a distinctive B. The B down there on the left is called Superstar B. That is not distinctive. Other teams use that in our conference. That's a widely available commercial product, so that's not a distinctive Berry B.
Afterwards, Briggs showcased the logos and branding that Berry College has used and evolved since the 1970s. He then showcases their solution to fix the current inconsistent branding for athletic teams by adopting a more universal font for the uniforms. However, the part that everyone was waiting for was when Briggs opened the floor for students to give their feedback on the current Viking head logo and asking for what strengths and weaknesses the logo currently has. Students immediately began listing the numerous strengths of the logo, with one student eventually commenting on how none of the students in attendance had any problems with the logo.
I think we're all in agreement with the uniform, title, and the B. I think everybody's okay with that. I think the main complaint and argument that we're all here for is the Vikings. We don't care if it's on the uniform. We're okay with the Bs. I think it's the element of the Viking that we've been having since 1997 that we want to keep.
Yep.
In response to this, Briggs begins to explain the concerns that he and other faculty members have seen with the current logo, primarily focusing on how a male Viking head is used to represent our female teams in sports.
It hits me every year when one of our women's teams is doing really well in the national championships, and you've heard me say this probably, and you look at the brackets of the top 64 teams in the tournament, and then we get down to the 16, we get down to the 8, and ours just stands out with a sore thumb.
After that, many students began to criticize Briggs and his staff for not allowing students to keep the logo, as well as questioning other aspects of the decision, like the people in charge of the redesign and the funding used for it. These arguments persisted until one optimistic student pointed out how students now have the possibility to choose a logo that can be more representative of what the current students want.
You guys obviously have already made your decisions, and I know a lot of people are pretty upset about that and angry about that and wondering why we're here. But if they've already made their decisions, why are we in such a bad mood about it when we can create and put our input in on the logos that we want, right? Like, we can give them feedback on what we want, so why are we so angry about them changing the logos if it can be something that we want?
As temper levels began to lower among students towards the end of the meeting, Briggs closed the town hall by showing everyone an email address for students to send their own ideas for a new logo. When questioned about if he expected the intense backlash, he stated that it was expected, and is happy about how passionate students are about Berry College and its future.
Yeah, if nobody came to the meeting and everybody didn't care, that would be a problem. So the fact that everybody cares is kind of what you want to see. And I can't say that this is the most enjoyable evening of the spring. But again, going way back, some of our best decisions, some of our hardest decisions have always had some controversy around them, and that's part of making decisions about things that you care about.
With Viking Fusion News, I'm Nolan Skoritz.